Hi everybody, this is Miss J and today we'll be reading a book by Margaret Wild called A Bit of Company. It's about a boy, Christopher, whose mother has triplets and suddenly finds himself without much company at all. But he does manage to find a bit of company in his neighbour next door. A bit of company. Christopher was lonely because his mother was busy with the new triplets, Jerry, Josh and Jane. No one rang the doorbell, no one came to play. Sometimes Christopher felt so lonely he wanted to scream and scream and scream. Sometimes he peeped through the hole in the fence and watched Molly McNamara next door. He wanted to say hello, but she always seemed so busy. But Molly McNamara wasn't busy, not really. She was lonely. No one rang her doorbell. No one popped in for a chat and a cup of tea. Sometimes Molly McNamara peeped over the fence and watched Christopher. She wanted to say, "G'day," but he always seemed so busy. Sometimes Molly McNamara felt so lonely she wanted to scream and scream and scream. One Monday morning at exactly 10 o'clock, she did just that. Ah! Everyone else was too busy to hear Molly McNamara's scream, but Christopher heard. He squeezed through the hole in the fence and hurtled up the path to the rescue. But Molly McNamara didn't seem to need rescuing. She was on the back veranda, quietly drinking tea and eating chocolate cake. "Why did you scream?" asked Christopher. "Did you see a monster?" "No," said Molly McNamara in a very small voice. "I just wanted a bit of company." "I'll keep you company," said Christopher, and he had a cup of tea and 2 slices of chocolate cake. Then Molly McNamara tucked up her skirt and showed him how to play hopscotch. He won. The next morning, Christopher's mother was so busy bathing and feeding the babies, Jerry, Josh and Jane. Christopher felt so lonely he wanted to scream and scream and scream. At exactly 11 o'clock, he did just that. Ah! Everyone else was too busy to hear Christopher's scream, but Molly McNamara heard. She pushed open the gate and ran as fast as she could down the path to the rescue. But Christopher didn't seem to need rescuing. He was sitting in the sand pit quietly drinking orange juice and eating sliced apple. "Why did you scream?" asked Molly McNamara. "Are you hurt?" "No," said Christopher in a very small voice. "I just wanted a bit of company." "I'll keep you company," said Molly McNamara, and she had a sip of orange juice and 3 slices of apple. Then Christopher rolled up his sleeves and showed Molly McNamara how to play marbles. She won. On the next day, which was Wednesday, Christopher waited for Molly McNamara to scream. And Molly McNamara waited for Christopher to scream. But nobody screamed. So off went Molly to find Christopher, and off went Christopher to find Molly McNamara. They met at the fence. "Let's have lunch together today," said Molly McNamara. "Let's have it on my back garden," said Christopher. "Then Mum and the babies can come too." After lunch, Christopher and his mum and Molly McNamara played oranges and lemons. Then the babies Jerry, Josh and Jane began to scream and scream and scream. They must be wet, said Molly McNamara. They must be hungry, said Mum. They just want a bit of company, Christopher said. And then he winked at Molly McNamara and she winked right back.